Ricotta's Mighty Robot versus the Mutant Mosquitoes from Mercury by Dav Pilkey, read by James Cornelius Dinglebacher Horton. Chapter 1, Ricky and His Robot. There once was a mouse named Ricky Ricotta who lived in Squeakyville with his mother and father. Ricky Ricotta might have been the smallest mouse around, but he had the biggest friend in town. Chapter 2, School Days. Ricky and his mighty robot liked to go to school together. Sometimes when Ricky was running late, his robot would fly him straight to the front door. After help, the mighty robot liked to help Ricky with his homework. The robot's computer brain could solve complex math problems. His finger had a built-in pencil sharpener. And he could even remove his telescopic eyeball, which made studying the planets much easier. "Wow," said Ricky, "I can see all the way to Mercury. That's cool." Chapter 3, Mr. Mosquito Hates Mercury. Mercury is the smallest planet in the solar system, and it was the closest planet to the sun, but it certainly was not cool. Just ask Mr. Mosquito. He hated living on Mercury, and he hated everything about it. He hated the long, hot days. Each day on Mercury, the temperature rose to more than 800 degrees. Mr. Mosquito couldn't even walk down the street because of his flip-flops always melted to the sidewalk. Mr. Mosquito hated Mercury's long, cold nights, too. Each night on Mercury, the temperature dipped to almost 300 degrees below zero. Mr. Mosquito couldn't even brush his teeth because his toothpaste was always being frozen solid. I've got to get away from this awful planet, said Mr. Mosquito, shivering in the cold. So Mr. Mosquito looked through his telescope and saw planet Earth. He saw mice playing happily on cool autumn days. He saw them sleeping soundly on warm summer nights. "Earth is the perfect planet for me," said Mr. Mosquito. "Soon it will be mine." Chapter 4, Mr. Mosquito Makes His Move. Mr. Mosquito went into his secret laboratory and clipped his filthy fingernails. He put the clippings into a giant machine and zapped them into a powerful ray. Then Mr. Mosquito's fingernails grew and grew and grew into massive mutant mosquitoes. Mr. Mosquito climbed aboard his spaceship and called to his troops. "Mutant mosquitoes," he cried. "It is time to conquer Earth. Follow me." And they did. Chapter 5, The Mosquitoes Attack. When Mr. Mosquito got to Earth, he ordered his mutant mosquitoes to attack Squeakyville. Ricky was in math class that afternoon. He looked out the window and he saw the mutant mosquitoes. "Uh-oh," said Ricky. "It looks like Squeakyville needs our help." Ricky raised his hand. "May I be excused?" Ricky asked his teacher. "My robot and I have to save the Earth." "Not until you finished your math test," said Ricky's teacher. Ricky had 3 problems left. "What is 2 times 3? He asked himself aloud. Ricky's robot was standing outside. He wanted to help, so he dashed to the teacher's parking lot and brought back some cars. Ricky's robot put 3 cars into one pile, and he put 3 cars into another pile. Ricky looked at the piles of cars. 2 piles of 3 cars, said Ricky. 2 times 3 equals 6. Ricky looked at the next question. "What is 6 minus 5? He asked. Ricky's robot knew just what to do. He threw 5 of the cars back into the parking lot. "I get it," said Ricky. 6 minus 5 equals 1. Ricky's last question was the hardest of all. "What is 1 divided by 2? He asked. The robot used his mighty karate chop to divide 1 car into 2. "That was easy," said Ricky. 1 divided by 2 equals 1/2. Ricky handed in his test. Then he climbed out the window. "Let's go, mighty robot," said Ricky. "We've got to save the Earth." My car!" cried Ricky's teacher. Chapter 6, The Heroes Arrive. Ricky and his mighty robot ran downtown to face the mutant mosquitoes. The mosquitoes attacked Ricky's robot. "Hey," said Ricky, 4 against 1 is not fair." Then Ricky had an idea. "Come with me, robot," said Ricky. The mighty robot was busy fighting, so he could not follow Ricky, but his arm could stretch very far. Ricky and his robot's arm stretched all the way to the Bugs Away bug spray factory. Ricky told the robot's arm to grab one of the huge bug spray storage tanks. Then they headed back to battle. Chapter 7, A Buggy Battle. The robot shook the tank of bug spray. The robot sprayed the mosquitoes. Then he broke up the buggy battle with a big blast of his bionic boot. Chapter 8, Mr. Mosquito's Revenge. The mutant mosquitoes had been defeated. Ricky's mighty robot chased them into space. The mosquitoes flew back to Mercury and never to be bothered by anybody again. Mr. Mosquito was very angry. He grabbed Ricky and took him into his spaceship. "Help me, robot!" Ricky cried. But it was too late. Mr. Mosquito chained Ricky up. Then he went to his control panel and pulled a secret lever. Suddenly, the spaceship began to change. It shifted and grew and transformed into a giant mecha mosquito. The mecha mosquito attacked Ricky's mighty robot, but Ricky's robot would not fight back. He knew that Ricky was inside the mecha mosquito, and if he did not want to hurt his best friend. The mecha mosquito pounded Ricky's robot. What could Ricky do? Ricky thought, and then he had an idea. Mr. Mosquito, said Ricky, I have to go to the bathroom. Not now, said Mr. Mosquito. I'm too busy beating up your robot. But it's an emergency, said Ricky. All right, said Mr. Mosquito. He unlocked Ricky's chains and led him up to the boys' room. Hurry up in there, he yelled. Inside the restroom, Ricky opened the window and stuck his head outside. Psst, Ricky whispered. The robot saw Ricky and held out his giant hand. Ricky jumped. I'm safe, said Ricky. Now it will be a fair fight. Chapter 9. Ricky's Robot Strikes Back. Inside the Mecha Mosquito, Mr. Mosquito was getting very angry. He knocked on the bathroom door. Let's hurry up in there, he yelled. I haven't got all day. Kerpow! Ricky's robot punched Mecha Mosquito right in the face. Mr. Mosquito leapt into his control panel and fought back hard. The final battle was about to begin. Chapter 10, The Final Battle. Chapter 11, Justice Prevails. The Mecha Mosquito had been destroyed, and Ricotta's mighty robot was victorious. Mr. Mosquito crawled out of the damaged ship and began to cry. What a bad day I am having, cried Mr. Mosquito. It's about to get worse, said Ricky. Ricky's mighty robot picked up Mr. Mosquito and dropped him into the Squeakyville jail. Then Ricky and his mighty robot flew home for chocolate milk and grilled cheese sandwiches. You boys have saved the world again, said Ricky's mother. Yes, said Ricky's father. Thank you for sticking together and fighting for what is right. No problem, said Ricky. That's what friends are for.